Breaking, Time magazine announces the Person of the Year, and IT's not a person. Time magazine announced their Person of the Year today, and after some controversy surrounding the possible selection of President Donald Trump, and his turning down the offer, the selection turned out not to be a person at all. The 2017 Time magazine Person of the Year are the silence breakers of the #MeToo movement. Although one could easily argue that the president had the largest impact on our everyday lives, the #MeToo movement has become a national phenomenon and brought down the powerful in Hollywood, business, and politics. Time, surprisingly, made some effort to appear nonpartisan in its essay announcing the choice, although both Donald Trump and Roy Moore are mentioned. Scandals involving Democrats are mentioned, although not to the same extent as the GOP. It also mentions the lack of outrage when Bill Clinton's accusers came forward, and acknowledged that more credit should have been given to them. Most of the focus, however, has been on the powerful in Hollywood, which make up the majority of the scandals. That may be why both the nasty woman herself, Ashley Judd, made the cover, as did Taylor Swift, who had a high-profile court case involving harassment this year. Outside of the essay, however, the coverage was far more partisan. Time ran an essay critical of President Trump's treatment of women, and the magazine included a survey that said Republicans were less likely to believe women who came forward with harassment claims than Democrats. Their source? Not a scientific survey, but SurveyMonkey, the surveys we all like to vote on multiple times to skew the results. Here is a selection from the Time magazine essay announcing the selection. Movie stars are supposedly nothing like you and me. They're svelte, glamorous, self-possessed. They wear dresses we can't afford and live in houses we can only dream of. Yet it turns out that, in the most painful and personal ways, movie stars are more like you and me than we ever knew. In 1997, just before Ashley Judd's career took off, she was invited to a meeting with Harvey Weinstein, head of the star-making studio Miramax, at a Beverly Hills hotel. Astounded and offended by Weinstein's attempt to coerce her into bed, Judd managed to escape. But instead of keeping quiet about the kind of encounter that could easily shame a woman into silence, she began spreading the word. "I started talking about Harvey the minute that it happened," Judd says in an interview with Time. "Literally, I exited that hotel room at the Peninsula Hotel in 1997 and came straight downstairs to the lobby, where my dad was waiting for me, because he happened to be in Los Angeles from Kentucky, visiting me on the set. And he could tell by my face, to use his words, that something devastating had happened to me. I told him. I told everyone." She recalls one screenwriter friend telling her that Weinstein's behavior was an open secret passed around on the Whisper network that had been furrowing through Hollywood for years. It allowed for people to warn others to some degree, but there was no route to stop the abuse. "We supposed to call some fantasy attorney general of moviedom?" Judd asks. "There wasn't a place for us to report these experiences." Finally, in October, when Judd went on the record about Weinstein's behavior in the New York Times, the first star to do so, the world listened. Weinstein said he never laid a glove on Judd and denies having had non-consensual sex with other accusers. When movie stars don't know where to go, what hope is there for the rest of us? What hope is there for the janitor who's being harassed by a coworker but remains silent out of fear she'll lose the job she needs to support her children? For the administrative assistant who repeatedly fends off a superior who won't take no for an answer? For the hotel housekeeper who never knows, as she goes about replacing towels and cleaning toilets, if a guest is going to corner her in a room she can't escape? Like the problem that has no name, the disquieting malaise of frustration and repression among post-war wives and homemakers identified by Betty Friedan more than 50 years ago, this moment is born of a very real and potent sense of unrest. Yet it doesn't have a leader, or a single, unifying tenet. The #MeToo, swiftly adapted into #balanced hunt pork, #Yotambian, #Anna_Cayman and many others, which to date has provided an umbrella of solidarity for millions of people to come forward with their stories, is part of the picture, but not all of it. This reckoning appears to have sprung up overnight. But it has actually been simmering for years, decades, centuries. Women have had it with bosses and co-workers who not only cross boundaries but don't even seem to know that boundaries exist. They've had it with the fear of retaliation, of being blackballed, of being fired from a job they can't afford to lose. They've had it with the code of going along to get along. They've had it with men who use their power to take what they want from women. These silence breakers have started a revolution of refusal, gathering strength by the day, and in the past 2 months alone, their collective anger has spurred immediate and shocking results. Nearly every day, CEOs have been fired, moguls toppled, icons disgraced. In some cases, criminal charges have been brought. Emboldened by Judd, Rose McGowan and a host of other prominent accusers, women everywhere have begun to speak out about the inappropriate, abusive and in some cases illegal behavior they faced. When multiple harassment claims bring down a charmer like former Today Show host Matt Lauer, women who thought they had no recourse see a new, wide-open door. When a movie star says #metoo, it becomes easier to believe the cook who's been quietly enduring for years. The women and men who have broken their silence span all races, all income classes, all occupations and virtually all corners of the globe. They might labor in California fields, or behind the front desk at New York City's Regal Plaza Hotel, or in the European Parliament. They're part of a movement that has no formal name. But now they have a voice. What do you think of the Time Magazine Person of the Year selection? Let us know in the comments section below, and in addition share this on social media.